أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. My dear brothers and respected sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. اللهم اجعل ما نقوله ونفعله خالصا لوجهك الكريم. Tonight we're going to speak about Ali al-Akbar's lesson on truth. Us growing up, we were taught a lot of things. We were taught how to act in front of people, to take off our shoes before entering our house, how to eat, to stand up, greeting the older people. But there's a bunch of things we weren't taught. Let's say most of us weren't taught. When it comes to how you treat yourself, how you deal with your emotions and feelings, with your body, with your desires, we weren't taught that. Khalas, we just grew up in a way and it's going to work out somehow. Khalas, school is going to teach them. The friends are going to teach them. When it comes to the worldview, we weren't taught that life is a battle between truth and falsehood. The battle started with Qabil and Habil. Ever since the battle started, truth and falsehood. And every time, like we mentioned, because history is the greatest teacher, there is somebody representing truth and somebody representing falsehood. And this is what we see in media and stories and movies and everything else. When it comes to something being entertaining and there's a battle between two poles, one of them represents truth, the other represents falsehood. And طبعا they need to choose a character for truth and falsehood. So it's somebody on the good side fighting somebody on the bad side. This is how it is. This is the concept. This is what they do. If you watch a movie, there's a good guy and a villain, a hero and a villain, right? You can watch them. You can take lessons from them. I once had a lecture, I spoke about Batman and the Joker. Somebody approached me. He's like, Sheikhna, do you think this is appropriate to speak about Batman and the Joker on the minbar? And he's a follower of Sayyid al-Khamenei. So I told him, do you know that Sayyid al-Khamenei spoke about Spider-Man in 2009? Silence. I told him, where are you coming from? What do you mean, Batman and Joker? And speaking about them on the minbar. Is it wrong? What's going to happen? Am I reading a book that's going to misguide me? If you want to cut off movies and media and Western influence, then cut it off properly. If you're saying, don't watch a movie, I'm not saying you should watch any movie. No, be careful what you watch. Be aware when you watch something, whatever it is. Be aware when you're on social media. Be aware when you're reading any book. Be aware always. Always be aware. But if you say that, no, Watching movies is dalal. This is what some scholars say from other school of thoughts. Then cut off the West completely. Don't live in the West. If you're saying don't watch movies, for example, because this is dalal, don't go to Western universities. It's dalal. Don't listen to Western professors. It's dalal. So either you take it all or you leave it all. Or give me an explanation. Tell me why I shouldn't do this. Okay? This is just a concept of truth and falsehood. You will always find somebody representing truth, somebody representing falsehood. Haqq and batil. You will find a character representing truth, this is the hero, and somebody representing falsehood, right? There's movies just for entertainment purposes. It's all right, just be aware. Because like I said, the general rule, be aware in everything that you do, everything that you read. Be aware. It's nothing new. Tamam? طيب. When it comes to what's truth. When I was in school back in the days in Germany, they invented a new class. They opened a new class. They called it back then Ethik, like ethics. And we were like 10, 11, and they would ask us questions like, what's luck? Define happiness. And we're just like 10-year-olds being like, what do you mean, what's luck and what's happiness? I have no clue, I don't know. So while I was preparing this, I just remembered that, like, what's truth? Because we actually need to speak about what's truth. When it comes to defining truth and knowing what truth is, you will find in the books many opinions. Here I'm going to mention 3. One opinion is that truth is what people agree upon. If humanity agrees upon something, then that's truth. Let's say back in the days, they used to believe that the sun circulates around Earth. That was truth to them. Khalas. They used to believe that the earth is flat. That was truth to them. A few years ago, everyone used to believe we have 2 genders. That was truth. Now, if you ask them, we have more than 50. So is that truth? In 200 years, they might say, actually, you know what? We only have 1 gender. Is that truth? So, akid, truth is not what people agree upon. Because people might agree upon something, and then the next day, agree on the complete opposite. And truth never followed people's opinions. And the truth doesn't follow my opinion or your opinion. Truth exists in itself. This is what truth is. So, akid, the truth is not what people agree upon. Number 1, we can put that aside. Another opinion says, truth is what matches my recognition, my perception. If I look at an object and that object is far away, I see it as that small. That's truth. When it comes closer, it becomes bigger in my perception. And then this is another truth. This is just an example. Or somebody, if he is colorblind, he might look at a tree and just see gray. If you ask him, what's the color of the tree? He's going to tell you gray. Because this is what he sees, his perception. But if you see colors normally, you're going to say, like, this tree is brown, green, yellow, whatever it is. And this opinion is wrong as well, because truth doesn't follow your own perception. Because our tools of perception are limited. They can deceive us. Optical illusions, etc., etc., etc. Tamam? So truth is not what matches your own recognition and perception. Third opinion and last opinion, truth is what matches reality and the real matter. And for example, we say, Allah Azza wa Jal exists. There is something called Allah Azza wa Jal, and He exists. And I found out about that truth. So truth is what matches the real matter, the reality, not my own perception. This is what truth is. Because some people come and deny truth. They say, is there a truth? And if there is a truth, is it only one, or do we have multiple truths? Hello, when it comes to this, pay attention. I'm going to mention a few examples to say that some things are relative. Yani you can have multiple truths. And other things are absolute. Yani there's only one truth. So some things have multiple truths. Other things have only one truth. For example, if your favorite food is pizza or mjaddara, and my favorite food is mlukhiyya, then there's no problem. This is your truth and this is my truth. If your favorite color is red and my favorite color is black, then that's fine. That's your truth and this is my truth. We don't have a problem. But if we say that 1 + 1 in math equals 2, then this is an absolute truth. You can't come and tell me that, no, 1 + 1 in math equals 5. It's wrong. I can't say, according to you, oh, it's 5, all right, I respect that. According to me, it's 2. No. 1 + 1 in math. Why am I saying math? Because if somebody is studying biology, they say 1 + 1 in biology is 3 because male and female get together and they have a baby. I don't care about that. But 1 + 1 in math is 2. That's it. If I say that God exists and you say God doesn't exist, that doesn't work. I can't say this is my truth and this is your truth. It's not like your favorite color or favorite food or favorite drink. If your favorite drink could be orange juice, mine could be a blueberry smoothie. I hope you guys are taking notes so you know what I like, okay? And after the lecture, I'll find you outside. When we speak about the existence of Allah Azza wa Jal, it's not a smoothie where you can say, according to you, yes, according to me, no. So how can I differentiate between what's absolute and what's relative? Because I gave 2 examples, right? I mentioned a few examples on relative truth and a few examples on absolute truth. How can I know if something is relative or absolute? How can I know if something belongs to that category or to that category? And I'm going to give you the rule yani, on how you can differentiate and say, okay, this belongs to this group or to that group. This is the rule. If we can have different opinions and say that, yes, this doesn't harm us, this is not going to make any contradiction, then it's relative. We don't have a problem. Yani, if your favorite drink is something and my favorite drink is something, we don't have any contradiction. We don't have any problem. That's fine. Keep yours to you and mine to myself. We don't have a problem. But we cannot say that when we claim that Allah Azza wa Jal exists and somebody else says that Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't exist, that both are correct. It doesn't make sense. Yani if he says, let me make it more clear. If he says my favorite juice is 1, 2, 3, and I say my favorite juice is 1, 2, 3, a third person could say, yes, it's no problem. What he's saying is true according to him, and he could say what I am claiming is true according to me. But when it comes to the existence of God, and I say Allah Azza wa Jal exists, and he says Allah doesn't exist, he cannot say, yes, it's okay. What he's saying is true, and what he's saying is true. No. Because either I am saying the truth or he's saying the truth. We can't accept both. We can't say, yes, Allah exists and Allah doesn't exist. It doesn't work like this. 1 + 1 in math is 2. This can't be true, and then he claims that 1 + 1 is 5, and we say, yeah, that's true too. No. So, if both can be true at the same time and we don't have any problem with that, no contradiction, all right, that's relative truth, no problem. But if we say that no, they cannot be true at the same time, then no, that doesn't work. It's absolute truth. It's either him or me. We can't say we're both correct, we're both right. It doesn't work like this. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The next point, how can we know what's true? I'm not gonna go too deep into these topics because this is just a whole knowledge on itself, epistemology, نظرية المعرفة. I'm just giving a few ideas because I want to get to certain points that I want to mention. Hello, when it comes to how can I know what's true, what's reality, and what's truth, there are some things that are evident in themselves. They don't need a proof. They don't need further explanation. We have one rule. This is the foundation of falsafa. This rule, everything is built upon. If you can make this rule invalid, all our philosophy is gone. Philosophy of the intellect, of the aql يعني. That rule is عدم إمكانية اجتماع النقيضين. Two things that contradict each other will never meet, will never match. That rule is the foundation. It doesn't need no istidlal, no proof, no nothing, because it is evident with itself, in itself. We use that to go. In philosophy, you have this rule, the first rule, number one, and then from there you go. You build everything upon that rule. Other things, they're not evident. You need to learn them. You need to go make research, open books, etc. And if I was to ask you, how many liters of blood do you have in your body as a human being? You don't know that. You don't tell me, wallah, it's evident. Actually, let me just reflect upon it and I can give you my answer. No. You're going to go open books, do your research, use Google. You will find 5 to 6 liters of blood. Right? So some things are evident. The truth is accompanied with them. It doesn't leave them because they're evident, no proof needed. Other things, you need to learn and do your research and open books and read and so on and so forth. طيب. هلا truth, there's a lazim to it. There's a necessity to it. Once you recognize truth, once you see truth, you have to submit to it fully. Once you see truth, you have to submit to it fully. You can't take the partial truth. Just say, khalas, wallah, this is true, but I just want to take a part of it. We cannot do this. This is what the Quran tells us. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. You believe in some of the scripture and leave the other parts of the scripture? You can't do this. Once you recognize truth, you give yourself to that truth to the fullest. No half games. Tamam? And from here, we want to build until we reach Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam. So if you recognize truth, you have to make sacrifices. Khalas, this is al-haq. If you find out that Allah Azza wa Jal exists, your life needs to change. Khalas. Now there's something in my calculations called Allah Azza wa Jal. I need to take that, factor that point, and build it into my life, and my life needs to change. I need to make the needed sacrifices. And if you're going in the path of truth, you're going to face difficulties, struggles, problems. You're going to be alone sometimes. This is what As-Sunnah al-Ilahiyya tells us, God's universal laws. Because the truth and the people of truth are almost all the time, yani, like throughout history, they were always the minority. And this is what Imam Ali alayhi salam tells us in one of the narrations. He says, أيها الناس لا تستوحشوا في طريق الهدى لقلة أهله فإن الناس اجتمعوا على مائدة شبعها قصير وجوعها طويل. O people, do not feel desolate at the small number of those who follow the right path. And the believers, the people of God, they were always the minority. If you look at history from Nabi Nuh till Ibrahim alayhi salam, till Musa alayhi salam, Jesus alayhi salam, and Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, till now, the believers are a minority. So the Imam continues, for people gather only around the table of this world, where the duration of satiety is short and its hunger is prolonged. And this concept, sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This concept was beautifully applied by Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam. On their journey to Karbala, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, it is said that he took a nap, a short nap, or that he had a vision. However, when he woke up, he said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And then Ali al-Akbar, he noticed that. According to some narrations, he went on his horse, or he already was on his horse, and he went to Imam al-Hussein to ask him why he said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Here, there's something beautiful mentioned by one of our scholars. He says that the narration is saying that Ali al-Akbar had to go on his horse and then go to Imam al-Hussein. That means he was far away. If he is far away, that means he's watching the Imam of his time at all times. Watching his lips, his actions, what he's doing. So he saw Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam say something, so he went to him. And he told him, why did you say, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un? Why did you say to God we belong and to him we will return? He told him, I had a vision. I saw us moving, our caravan moving, and I saw death moving towards us. And look what Ali al-Akbar tells his dad, his father, Salamullah alayh. He tells him, Awalasna ala al-haq, the first question. We're facing death, it's all right. Awalasna ala al-haq? He tells him, Bala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He tells him, Awalasna ala al-haq? Imam Hussein told him, Bala wallah. And then Ali al-Akbar says the most important sentence. إِذَنْ لَا نُبَالِي أَوَقَعْنَا عَلَى الْمَوْتِ أَمْ وَقَعَ الْمَوْتُ عَلَيْنَا. If that's the case, then it doesn't matter to us if we fall upon death or death falls upon us. We don't care. Since we're on the path of truth, since we're in the right, khalas, that's it. We're willing to sacrifice everything for the path of truth, for what's right. If we take the lesson from Karbala, if we take the lesson from Ashura, if you want to take the lesson from Ali al-Akbar, then we need to tell ourselves now, La nubali. We should be willing to sacrifice. Hala, you will find people claim, Wallah, we love Allah Azza wa Jal, we love the Prophet, we love Imam al-Hussein, we love Ashura, and the personalities that sacrifice themselves in Ashura to save Islam, but they're not willing to sacrifice anything. Yani he has the sword of Imam Ali right here. He has a tattoo to explain his love for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, but he's not willing to make any sacrifices. He struggles with, I can't stop listening to music. Tabla. Anjad, if you really want to make a sacrifice in these 30, 40, 50 years that you have, and you're taking the lessons from Ashura year over and over again, every year, because I have people approach me, Wallah, every year we listen to the tragedy of Imam al-Hussein. Every year, khalas, like we're almost bored. I can tell you what happened in Ashura. Did you take the lessons from Ashura? Did you internalize them? Did you try to apply them in your daily lives? If you want to take the lesson from Ali al-Akbar, you are willing to sacrifice. You're willing to say in every situation, La nubali, La nubali, La nubali. This is what they did. We think, no, khalas, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he's infallible, ma'soom. But what about Ali al-Akbar? What about Zuhair? What about Abis? What about the others? Were they infallible? But they weren't. They did what they did. They made the sacrifices. Why can't we make the sacrifices? Why do we struggle with like certain habits? Work on them. I'm not saying khalas, from one day to the other, you should stop everything. You become ayatullah in one night. No. But make a plan. And inshallah, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, set your bar high, like I mentioned the previous nights. Set the bar high, this is going to help you grow. If you set the bar low, you're going to stay low. Set the bar high. طيب. Because now we live in a time where everyone plays with the truth. Everyone plays with the truth. To the extent that people don't believe anything anymore. We had Corona a few years ago. Till now, no one knows what what it was. Where did it come from? How did it affect people? Like you had people who were like 60 years old, they had corona, they didn't even feel the symptoms. And you had 20-year-olds who died. Like, what's corona? What was it? We took the vaccine. Did it help us? Did it not? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it a good choice? You'll find the doctors themselves say after a while, actually, yeah, like, I don't know, the vaccine, I'm not sure if it was good for us. Tell you. The earthquake in Turkey, you had theories, and wallah, this was made up. It wasn't a real earthquake. They knew about it. This guy in Holland, I don't know what he said, right? They don't know if it's true or not. Halla, now the new generation, you will find them on TikTok and Instagram. They see videos of aliens coming. They're like, is this true? Can this be true? They question that. And then you find the comments, right? The comments are like, oh my God, I don't know. Like humanity reached a level, like, I don't know, we're lost. The new generation, I don't know, right? Because they make us doubt in everything. What's true and what's not? You don't know. Khalas, we're lost. Everything you see, yeah, this could be true. It could be true. We don't know, right? Who told you? Halla, people believe that, I don't know, in some things they see on movies and they're actually true. Because everyone is playing with truth. Even when it comes to beliefs. Halla, you have people, Muslim people, following the Quran in the name of the Quran. They tell you hijab is not wajib. Kif? Halla, wait for it. They're going to tell you shaking hands, touching the opposite gender is not haram. Give me a verse from the Quran that says it's haram. It's not haram. They want to implement the shak, the doubt. Once you doubt, you're lost. You lose your foundation. Khalas, they take you wherever they want to take you. You will find people, halla, and this is what a lot of people believe, halla, nowadays, when it comes to like feminism and other stuff, like the strong, independent woman, this is what I want to be, right? I don't want to have a husband who's leading me, who's a leader. We're equal in everything. Halla, now everyone believes that to the extent, halla, some might look at me and be like, what is he talking about? Yeah, it's true, right? But like 50 years ago, it wasn't true. If you go back to the nature of our nature, it's not true. But now, because of everything going on, we believe that, yeah, mbala, actually, this is truth. Anyway, one thing about these movements, the new movements, okay? One good benefit for us when it comes to the extremes, halla, I'm not going to mention examples. You know the examples yourself. One good thing about these movements that are happening right now is that we can convince those who have a pure heart and a sound heart and a pure intellect. We can tell them, you know what? See how you reject a few things they are trying to implement in the societies and you see them as clearly wrong? There are things now that to us are so normal, but they are wrong. 50 years ago, they were wrong. Your nature says it is wrong. But now, because of the indoctrination, we think, no, khalas, it's normal. Yes, because in 50 years from now, if everything goes the way they are planning for it to go, what we see now as strange and wrong and unacceptable, and the majority of humanity doesn't even accept, it's just a minority, but they have the media, right? In 50 years from now, they're going to say, yeah, this is normal. We have so and so on. This is normal. We're living in 2070. What are you speaking about? We have 500 genders. It's okay. It's going to be the most normal thing. Even though now, if you do a survey, I'm sure more than 70% of the humanity will say this is wrong. But they can't. All right? And this is not my topic. What I want to say is just what you now might see as wrong, right? Back in the days, it was truth. It was right. Or the opposite. طيب. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Let me make it more clear a little bit. Halla, we're used to so many things and we take them for granted, and to us, it's the most normal thing. But back in the days, it was a miracle. Yani if we go back, halla, 1,000 years, and we tell them, the humanity back then, You know what? You could fly from Canada to Lebanon in less than 24 hours. They tell you, what? You're crazy. How? Impossible. Miracle. They'd be like, what are you saying? I can fly in less than 24 hours. Not even fly. I can go from Canada to Lebanon in less than 24 hours. That's impossible. Yeah, according to them, it was impossible. How? They didn't have airplanes. Nothing. If you told people back in the days, you could be sitting in China and seeing somebody in Brazil and see their face and listen to their voice, they would tell you, you are crazy. Because it's impossible to them. Now it's the most normal thing. If you told people back in the days, you can send in 1 second, you can send 10,000 emails to 10,000 different people all over the world, they would tell you you're crazy. But now it's normal. It's normal because this is how we grew up. And this is how life is, all right. So we're not aware of how things change sometimes. We take things for granted. Yeah, this is how we are. This is when it comes to technology and a few things. How about our worldview and how it affected us till now without us noticing and recognizing? For this, just to make it more clear to you guys. طيب. So the main point is we have to recognize truth and what's true, and we have to follow that truth. Because if we do not raise ourselves in this way, in this manner, to give ourselves for truth, to sacrifice for truth, we're not going to accept Imam Mahdi عجل تعالى فرجه الشريف when he comes back. We're not. We're going to tell him, خلص عد حيث أتيت. Go back. We're not ready yet. We don't want you. Because some people enjoy the Imam al-Mahdi عجل تعالى فرجه الشريف that is in the absence. That is absent, that is in occultation. They want to recite Dua al-Nudba. They love reciting Dua al-Faraj, but they don't want the Imam to actually come back. I know it might sound weird, but they enjoy this. Like they want to mourn, they want to cry for his reappearance, but they don't actually want him to come back. It's like you when you miss Lebanon and you want to fly back to Lebanon, and then you just see the beautiful image of Lebanon, and then when you actually go there, you're like, oh, like kahraba, mai, like whatever, like a'is, everything, right? You remember all the struggles. You actually, it's hard. Like you enjoy the thought of going to Lebanon. You love this feeling. You're like, I want to go so bad, and then when you go there, you're like, khalas, I've had enough. Let me go back home, right? Same thing when it comes to communities asking us, why don't you guys come back? Like you come for a week, 2, a month, and then you leave. I had somebody ask me this question in one of the communities in Canada in Shahr Ramadan. I told them, do you really want a resident scholar? Do you really want somebody to be here? Do you know what it means if a scholar is here like the whole time? It's not only Shahr Ramadan and Ashura programs. We want to grow. Like if a scholar comes back, he wants to grow with you. You need to commit. You need to come to the center. You need to come to the mosque, attend classes, write, go, read, do research, etc. Because we want to grow. It's not only a 30-minute lecture once a day. Might be a weekly thing, 2-3 times a week, where you have to come, sit down, read, and study. I told him, Halla, we had Shahr Ramadan. Told him, how big is the community? How many people do come? And it's Shahr Ramadan. He said, yeah, you're right. I told him, like, how many times did you come yourself? He's like, khalas, okay. Most people come a day, 2, that's it. They enjoy a lecture and they leave. But do you really want a resident scholar? Are you going to be ready to come, commit, study? If he asks you, what did you do? What did you learn? If he tells you, this is what we have to do, are you going to do that or no? Well, is it just, we would like to have somebody here so we can have like Saturday Q&As and hang out. This is not what the scholar is going to do when he comes, right? So maybe this is why Imam Mahdi Ajla Ta'ala Faraj Sharif didn't come back yet. Because we think we want him back, but do we actually really want him back or no? Do we just enjoy the idea of him coming back, but when he actually comes back, we're going to refuse? Because this is what the narrations say. Some will say, عد حيث أتيت سيأتي بدين جديد. They're going to tell him, what's this? Like a new religion or something? We've been taught otherwise. So what are you bringing now? This is what some people will tell him. This is what some people will claim. Even though, like, I'm not saying, طبعا we need resident scholars in every community. Like there needs to be somebody at the end of the day. They have to go back somewhere and stay there because the communities, they need a scholar. Maybe not only one, multiple scholars, but they need a scholar to be there. Because if there's no scholar, then somebody else who's not qualified is going to fill the gap, and this is the most dangerous part. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And this is the most dangerous part. I made the analogy of the Titanic yesterday. If you've been told something your whole life, if you let somebody play with your worldview and give you a certain belief, and then it turns out to be incorrect and wrong, but to you it was your Titanic, and then it sank because you discovered actually, what's this? It's wrong. The foundation was wrong. Everything was wrong. Then you're going to have doubt. You're not going to believe anyone. Truth is going to become a strange concept to you. How can I believe anyone else? Like this person was telling me the whole time that this is what we have to do, this is how Allah is, this is what He wants, etc. And the problem is about unqualified persons or speakers or whatsoever is that they come with something that attracts the youth. Arfan. Falsafa. Right? Because everyone, he wants to go to the strange things. Yeah, Arfan, let's speak about Arfan. You know, like, they come with strange things. They attract the youth. Tab, why? I don't want to swear, yani. I don't want to say wallahi. But I could say, most of them, they don't speak Arabic. They never read the whole Quran. You're coming to teach me about Arfan? You're coming to teach me about philosophy and Tawheed? How? If I ask them about a simple verse in the Quran, they don't know. They are committing haram without knowing that they are committing haram because they don't know what's halal and haram. In order for you to be on the path of Arfan, to go towards Allah Azza wa Jal, you cannot commit haram. And committing haram is not only through sinning, it's one of the ways. You can commit haram through sinning, but you can commit haram through not doing your wajib. If somebody doesn't know, wallah, I have to pray, then he doesn't pray. He's doing haram. In this case, he's technically not doing haram because he doesn't know, etc. I don't want to go into the details of fiqh. But in most cases, they don't even know what's wajib upon them. So they neglect that. They're doing haram. How can you go to that spiritual journey called Arfan without knowledge of the basics? Fiqh, Arabic language, Quran. How? You can't. If anyone claims that he can, he can't. If you don't know the Islamic narrations, what we have, what's authentic, what's not authentic, because there's steps. If you write them down, there's steps. Before you open any book, any Islamic book, any book that speaks about narrations, first thing you have to do is tell me, is this book authentic or no? If it's authentic, tell me why. If it's not authentic, tell me why. You don't just open a book and read in it. First step. Second step. If that book is authentic, which narration is authentic and which not? How do you know? If you're speaking in the name of Islam, if you're claiming that you're a speaker in the name of Islam, if you want to say that this is what Islam wants, then you have to know this. Which narration is authentic and which not? And if you say it's authentic, based on whose opinion? Second step. Third step, Arabic language. If you read a narration, how do you know what it actually means? Let's say you know what it means. Maybe there's other narrations that contradict with that narration. Not every authentic narration we take. And not every weak narration we say we don't take. Some weak narrations we take. How do you know if that narration goes against the Quran or it doesn't? It's not as simple as you think it is. And no khalas, just, wallah, he opened the book, he looks smart, I'm just going to listen to him. La, don't do this. Like I said, you wouldn't let somebody who's not an expert in building houses build your house. You're not going to feel safe inside that house. You're not going to go and do a surgery with a doctor that didn't study in med school. You're not going to do this. Tayyib, same thing with your mind, with your brain, with your intellect, with your worldview. Don't let anyone play with that if he's not qualified. When it comes to religion, everyone likes to speak about religion. It's like politics. Khalas, everyone thinks he's an expert. Politics, especially Lebanese people, they know everything, right? Yani, Lebanese people, they go, they buy a manouche, and they would try to make like, khalas, I think the manouche needs to be done in this way and that way. He's an expert in everything, every field. But when it comes to religious topics, religion, Islam, belief, worldview, don't let anyone tell you anything unless they can prove where they studied, unless they can show you who their teacher is. This is how Hawza is. This is how Hawza always was. I asked my highest teacher, I asked him, who did give you ijaza on ijtihad? Who did give you the permission to give bahth kharij? Who's your teacher? We ask him. And he says, yes, my teacher, this is his name. He gave me ijaza. This is why I can teach. This is how it is. This is how it always was. We have Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam appoint one of his companions telling him, you go to that mosque and give them fatwa with the permission of the Imam. You know his teacher, you question him. How do we know? You can't just listen to anybody. The teacher is very important. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So ask about the teacher. Ask about the institution. Because the new strategy of attacking Islam is through attacking the Shia in the West. Please pay attention. This is very, very important. If you look back into history and how they would attack Islam, they would attack the Prophet ﷺ himself. Then they would try to attack the Quran. If we want to take it from a different perspective, the West has so much money, or let's say the enemies of Islam, not only the West, the enemies of Islam, wherever they might be. The enemies of Islam who try to attack the Islam, instead of putting so much effort into wars and to invade countries and so on and so forth, let them just make one verse of the Quran invalid. Just one. If they can do that, khalas, nahna, we as Muslims, we say we don't believe in this book anymore. Done. But they can't. They cannot. This is why they tried to attack the teachings of Al-Quran Al-Kareem. And they failed. Every attempt failed. Because it failed, what do they do now? They burn the Quran. Khalas. If nothing works, we'll just burn the Quran and see what happens. They failed. They tried to invade countries to attack Islam. It failed. They tried to make economic crisis in certain countries to attack Islam. It failed. Every attempt failed. They even tried to make groups in these countries to bring Muslims apart. It failed. Why did it fail? Because of our scholars. They tried to attack our scholars. They tried to attack our maraja, to tell us these maraja are not good. Because if we lose our marja'iyya, then we lose ourselves. Our marja'iyya is the one that keeps us united, right? So they tried to attack our marja'iyya. They failed. And every attempt is going to fail. They tried creating groups in these countries, and they failed because there were scholars and ulama who protected the Shia of Al-Muhammad. Correct? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, and what's coming next, is they're trying to make groups in the West. Why? No resident alim, no scholar, no protection. We make groups in the name of Islam, in the name of Shia, in the name of their leaders, to fight tashayyu'. They don't have anything else. They tried everything. Every attempt failed, and they are going to fail. And you know why this is dangerous? Because it's satanic. It's the devil's method. What did the devil do when he let Adam and Hawa do what they did? What did he tell them? وَقَاسَمَهُمَا إِنِّي لَكُمَا لَمِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. What does mean وَقَاسَمَهُمَا? يعني حلف بالله عز وجل. He told them, the translation says, and he swore by Allah to them, the devil himself, Ash-Shaytan himself. He swore by Allah, verily I am one of the sincere well-wishers for you both. I want to give you an advice, nasiha. He came with a beautiful image. In the name of Allah, Shaytan himself, he told them, I want to help you. I want to show you truth. I want to show you salvation. I want to show you the right direction. Listen to me. Right? In the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is why, and this is the foresight Ayatollah Khomeini had. What did he say about certain countries? Even if they say La ilaha illallah, don't trust them. Don't listen to them. Because they're gonna use the name of La ilaha illallah to deceive you, to destroy you, just like how Iblis did in the name of La ilaha illallah. And now you will find groups attacking the real Shia Muslims believers in the name of Imam al-Hussein, in the name of Imam Ali alayhi salam, in the name of Al-Imam al-Mahdi ajallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif, and in the name of their leaders, in the name of As-Sayyid al-Sistani, in the name of Sayyid Ali al-Khamenei, in their names, deceiving them. And they fall for it, not knowing that they're doing wrong. Just like how Iblis did. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'm going to come to an end and finish off. Just one more point. Because if you look at it from a different perspective, if we want to analyze Iblis, Iblis is the greatest teacher when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal. If we put aside the Ma'sumin, of course, if we exclude the prophets and the imams and the infallibles, who after them would be the greatest teacher to speak and preach about Allah Azza wa Jal? Who? Iblis himself. He worshipped Allah Azza wa Jal for thousands of years until he reached the level of Tawus al-Malaika. No, this is what the Quran says. Correct? He spoke to Allah Azza wa Jal. Correct? He himself says, Inni akhafullah, when the day of judgment comes. So sometimes who you think is teaching you Islam and helping you grow, he could be Iblis himself without you knowing. This is why we have the concept of ilm and tazkiyah, always. Both, not one. So we need to watch who our teachers are, who speak to us, who preach to us in the name of Islam, in the name of our Imam, in the name of our leaders. This is very important because only then we can make sure that we are on the path of truth. If we don't do that, we cannot guarantee that we're going to be on the path of truth. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي ويا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك وعلى آل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. سيدي يا حسين، وصل النداء إلى الحسين فأسرعا، ورأى علي بالسيوف مقطعا. Imam Hussein heard the cry and he rushed to Ali. Through the dust his fallen son he sees. In Karbala, under the burning sky, a painful scene, a heartbreaking goodbye. After Imam Hussein alayhi salam's companions were all martyred, and none remained after except his family members, Ali al-Akbar came to Imam al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he did not want Ali to go. He cried and he said, Waladi Ali, ilayya, uwaddi'uka wa tuwaddi'uni, ashimmuka wa tashummuni. My son Ali, come to me. I'll bid you farewell and you'll bid me farewell. Once they bid farewell, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he told his son Ali, go to the tents of the ladies of Banu Hashim. Go bid farewell to your mother Layla. Go bid farewell to your aunt Zainab. Ali went to the tent. It's as if Layla is saying, I thought that you would one day bury me. How would I know this is your fate in this city? I raised you, I'm proud of what you became. Here you are, a man defending your father Hussein. Imam Hussein alayhi salam pleaded for them to let him go, as they did not want to leave Ali. They kept holding on to his cloak, saying, Ya Aliyan, urham ghurbatana. Oh Ali, don't go. You remind us of the Prophet Muhammad. very like to see you and remember the Prophet. Ali went to the battlefield after Imam al-Hussein took him to the outskirts of the tent. He said, I am Ali, son of Hussein, son of Ali. My family is more worthy of the Prophet. I strike you with my sword while defending my father. A strike of the youth from Bani Hashim. By Allah, you will not rule over us. When the enemy saw him, some ran away, thinking that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam was on the battlefield. One of the men says to Ali al-Akbar, "O Ali, your mother is the granddaughter of Abu Sufyan. We'll give you safe passage if you would like to leave." Ali replies, "The family of Rasulullah is more worthy of the safe passage." As Ali was fighting, Imam al-Hussein was keeping an eye on him. At some points he would smile, at some points he would frown. Layla was keeping news about her son by looking at the face of Imam al-Hussein. When she saw Imam al-Hussein's face turn pale, she said, "Sayyidi Aba Abdullah, has anything happened to my son Ali?" He said, "La ilaha, not yet, but he's fighting an enemy who I fear could hurt him. Ya Layla, ya, go back into the tent and do a dua for Allah to bring him back. For wallah, I heard Rasulullah saying that the dua of a mother for her son is accepted." Layla went into the tent. She said, "Ilahi, بغربتي أبا عبد الله بعطشي أبا عبد الله رد إلي يا عليا يا راد يوسف ليعقوب." Oh Allah, by the loneliness of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, by the thirst of Abu Abdullah, return my son Ali to me. O you who returned Yusuf to his father Yaqub, return to me my Ali. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted the dua and Ali came back. But what state did he come back in? He said, "Father, I'm thirsty." He said, "Father, I'm thirsty. The weight of the armor has made me tired." Imam al-Hussein had no water to offer Ali. He said, "My son, return to the battlefield. Your grandfather Rasulullah will give you water that will quench your thirst forever." As Ali al-Akbar went to the battlefield once again, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was watching him. Ali al-Akbar, he fought ferociously in the defense of Imam al-Hussein. There was an enemy who struck Ali with a spear in his chest. the other enemies, they hit Ali with arrows and rocks. As Ali hugged his horse, the blood went on the horse's eyes, and the horse took Ali al-Akbar to the enemies, where they cut him iraban. They cut him up to pieces, and he called out, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, he rushed to Ali, saying, Waladi Ali. He puts his face on Ali's face. He sees Ali smiling, and then Ali's crying. He asks him, Ali, what do you see? He says, I see my grandfather, Rasulullah, and he's given me water and he's quenched my thirst. Then Imam al-Husayn asked him, then why are you crying, son Ali? He says, I saw your mother, Fatima al-Zahra, and she was crying, hurting her head, saying, Wa Husayna, wa ghariba. على الدنيا بعدك العفا. Life is not worth living after you, Ali. Imam al-Husayn asked his brother Abbas and the family youth to take Ali back to the tents. It is said they needed a cloak or a cloth to put Ali as he was cut into so many pieces. When they took him back to the tent, his mother Layla comes out, Zainab comes out, and she throws herself on the body of Ali. Ya Habiba, ya thamarata fuadi, ya Ali. The English doesn't do justice, so I'm going to say it in Arabic. فَبَكَ الْحُسَيْنِ رَحْمَةً لِبُكَاءِ زَيْنَبٍ. Imam al-Husayn cried for the tears of Zainab, but Imam al-Husayn, who will cry for Zainab after you are gone on the 10th of Muharram and Shimr is hitting Zainab? Ya Aba Abdullah. Layla comes out and sees Ali, asking, is this my son or is this the Prophet in front of me? I nurtured and raised you to be a young man in these two arms, and now I witness your body with no place left unharmed. Your blood mixes with Karbala's sands. Your body lay torn in my hands. The image of the Prophet, what a loss, my son. Where do I find another like you, Ali, my cherished one? It's as if Imam al-Husayn says to Zainab, Ya Zainab, Ali rah, Ya Zainab, Ali rah, Ali rah, Ya Zainab, Ali rah. Ali is gone. I traced the cries of my son in need. I watched him torn apart. I saw him bleed. Zainab, please come and aid me. Ya wa Husaynan wa shahidan ya wajihan. Ya wajihan. Please stand up for the recitation of Ziyarat Warith. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا وارثا آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمدا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة. لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من داعم الدين وأركان المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله إني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي. وقلبي لقلبكم سائل وأمري لأمركم متبع. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. بأبي أنت وأمي يا ابن رسول الله. بأبي أنت وأمي يا أبا عبد الله. لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل السماوات والأرض. فلعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتهيأت لقتالك. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، قصدت حرمك وآتيت إلى مشهدك، أسأل الله بالشأن الذي لك عندك وبالمحل الذي لك لدي أن يصلي على محمد وآل محمد، وأن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين.
أصحاب الحسين صلوا على محمد.